Hi, I'm Chris from Off to Class, and today we're excited to introduce something we've never done before, and that's structured curriculum. Until now, teachers who were using Off to Class would build customized lesson plans using the 700 lessons in our library, but we had never taken those lessons and built them ourselves into a structured step-by-step curriculum until today. Now, for the first time, starting at the A2 level, it will be possible with more and more units that we release over the coming months to simply place your student at their appropriate level, and Off to Class will supply one lesson after another that teaches every relevant skill and covers speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And today we are really excited to introduce to you the first 4 lessons in this series. So at the A2 level, we've got 4 lessons that are the first part of our structured curriculum. And I want to give you a brief overview of how these lessons work, what the objectives are, and how you can get started with this with your students. So the first lesson in the A2 level is going to be talking about yourself, and we're going to introduce the present simple of to be. And at the end of this first lesson, students will be able to talk about themselves using descriptive adjectives and the present simple tense of to be. In this first lesson, the focus starts with the basics: where I'm from, where he or she is from, and where people live. You'll introduce the positive and negative forms of to be, and your student will be able to share basic information about themselves, like their name, where they're from, and their nationality. Encourage students in this first lesson to use contracted forms. Focus on the pronunciation of he's, she's, and your, we're, and their. In the second lesson, the objective is to talk about other people, and we're going to continue with the present simple of to be. And here in this second lesson, we're focusing on describing others, and we also learn how to make questions with to be. Remember, it can be tricky because when teaching questions with to be, the subject and the verb switch places, so you'll need to give your students lots of support. In the third lesson of the series, the objective is to ask for and give information. So by the end of this third lesson, your students will be able to talk by asking for and giving information. And here, the key is to encourage role play, where you're going to introduce real life and functional language. There are opportunities to use the target language in an authentic context. So make sure that you set up the scene thinking about the people who are talking, where they're from, and creating as much context as possible. When you want to improve fluency, the key is making the experience as authentic as possible with your students through setting the scene. And don't hesitate to model and drill the question forms, because intonation, where we go up at the end, is vital in questions in English. So this is an area to really encourage you to do some drilling with your students. Finally, in the fourth lesson of the series, the objective is to teach a student how to write about themselves. And here we're going to work on basic punctuation. So at the end of this lesson, students will be able to write about themselves using descriptive adjectives and the present simple of to be. Always enforce punctuation and spelling when students write sentences in your class. When introducing sentence writing, always start with short sentences that contain a single idea. Complexity is for later. Avoid commas except for lists, and insist on capital letters to build good habits. Remember that successful writing lessons usually have a strong reading task that models what you want the student to then write. And of course, try not to correct every mistake that the student makes in writing, because it can be overwhelming for students who are writing in English for the first time. So with these 4 lessons, we are giving you the first steps toward this journey of step-by-step curriculum where you will no longer have to ask the question, what do I teach next? It will simply be answered for you. You can move to the next level of the sequence. All you need to do is assign students our placement test and then start on the proper level curriculum. So if you want to experience this, sign up for a free trial at offtoclass.com and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the circle so that you can get the latest training videos from Off to Class.